I don't know about you, but I'm the kind of person that likes checklists and I love to mark things off as I go. Perhaps that's one of the reasons why I enjoy reading romance so much. I find that it's a much faster read than some of the other genres. Now, that's not to say that romance cannot have depth to it, it certainly can, but I find that a lot of the romance books versus maybe, say, a fantasy book, if you miss a detail in a fantasy book, you might be confused for the rest of the story. In romance, that's less likely to happen, so I'm able to read it a little bit faster, which means I get to check more boxes more frequently. On top of that, I have to admit, sometimes I just want to see a happy ending. Sure, sometimes I prefer not knowing if the good guy's going to win at the end, but sometimes it's just nice to know that the main characters are going to achieve their goal by the end of the book. Now, I hope you don't mind, I'm just going to throw a quick little anecdote out there for you. When I was 19, I worked at Borders bookstores, rest in peace, and we had this little section at the store. It was maybe half a bookcase large, and it was the romance books with explicit content in them. Now when I go to the bookstore, it seems like the closed door romance section is about that size. Now, as much as I would love for books to come with a rating system, perhaps like the movie theater, but since we don't have something like that in place on a large scale yet, I found that it was really hard to find romance books that didn't have all the explicit content in there. Now, I know some readers prefer that stuff. It is just my personal preference that I don't read that. And so I'm very grateful to the BookTube community and the Bookstagram community because they have shown me how many authors there are still out there that are writing closed door romance, and they really helped me to discover a lot of those authors. Now, I don't stick exclusively to Christian romance. As long as it's closed door, that will satisfy what I'm looking for. But I do admit sometimes I stumble upon a book or an author who has a scene in there, and it won't make me just put the book down and stop reading it, but if there's multiple scenes, then maybe I will. But I always try to find out prior to starting a book if it's going to have that in there. I'm probably just not going to start it. And so all of this is to explain my inspiration for today's video. I wanted to provide a large list of authors for people who are also seeking to find more closed-door romance authors for themselves. So this list is going to include Christian authors and non-Christian authors, and by no means is it an exhaustive list. So if I miss an author that you think other people should know about, please throw that in the comments for other people to go ahead and see. And if I make a mistake and put an author on this list that shouldn't be there, please also let me know that, because that would be super helpful to not only me but anybody else who sees that as well. I will also say that I have not read every author who's going to be on this list, but I did my best to find people with a decent backlist so that it's not just one or two books. But I am going to add at the end, there are a few debut authors who just in the last year or so have debuted their first novel that I think are worth checking out and following their careers as well. As I go through the list, the authors' names will come on the screen and I'll leave them up there. If you want to write them down, it might be a little fast. I would recommend maybe taking a screenshot at the end. And I will do my best to pronounce everyone's name correctly, and I doubt that I will succeed. Also, for a lot of these authors, I do have a link to christianbook.com. Not all of these authors will be on there, but the ones that are, you can go ahead and use that link. It is an affiliate link, just disclaimer. And one last note, these authors are all romance authors, but that's not to say that they don't write in a plethora of subgenres. So you're going to have historical in there, you're going to have fantasy, you're going to have rom-coms, you're going to have biblical, you're going to have mystery and suspense, whatever it is. And some of these authors even write across different subgenres themselves. So without further ado, let's get to that list. We have Melissa Ferguson, Emma St. Clair, Jenny Proctor, Amy Clipston, Irene Hannon, Tracy Peterson, Susan May Warren, Rachel Fordham, Colleen Coble, Angela Ruth Strong, Amanda Cabot, Melody Carlson, Robin Lee Hatcher, Nicole Deese, Mandy Blake, Becky Wade, Tessa Afshar, Danny Petrie, Tony Shiloh, Jody Headland, Pepper Basham, Hannah Linder, Emily Conrad, T. Bell, Tawny Suchi, Dulcie Dameron, Brittany Joy, Courtney Kiesel, Anna Conwell, Letitia Sexton, Tara Grace Erickson, Courtney Walsh, Christine W. Joy, Kristen Canary, and my debut authors are Madeline Smith, Jessica King, Parker Roberts, Emily Maxwell, and Kate Goodwin. So hopefully you were able to get a screenshot of all those authors. Let me know if any of these authors are perhaps one that you already love. My hope for this video is that somebody out there can find a new favorite author, or maybe a bunch of new authors, and open up their options for closed-door romance books. If you found this video helpful, please give it a like and also subscribe and share it. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time.